Hi and good evening and welcome to THFC Till I Die, your home of the Tottenham Hotspur from the past to the present. And tonight we're doing a pre-match show to our game against Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow, 12:30 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And tonight, joining me tonight for this pre-match show is my usual two legends. That's all they are. They're just legends of the Tottenham community. Their wealth of knowledge goes beyond mine all day long. Next to me, well, she is the queen of this army and every army in the Spurs community. She is the one and she's the only Queen Ellie Holberg. How are you tonight, Ellie? Yeah, and Ellie's on mute.
Sorry. I'm very well, thank you, Dermot. Thank you for the lovely intro. Very appreciated. And you underestimate yourself. You know as much as us, I'm telling you.
And down below me, well, this man really needs no introduction. I mean, if he told you to do something, you would do it because he is the godfather of the Spurs community. He tells you not to watch forward sports, you wouldn't watch it. But if you did something wrong, he'll make you watch Graham Souness for 24 hours solid on the TV screen tied to the chair. So he is the one, he is the only, Philip, the Godfather Brady. How are you this evening, Philip?
I'm speechless after that introduction. I don't know how to follow that now. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
So funny.
Totally over the top, but much appreciated.
Well, I thought at the time people to the chair. I just had to give it a bit more because you're the Godfather, so I had to make it a bit more that you are the man. You know,
the only thing left out was the whole head, you know.
Oh,
but anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. We will have a couple more guests joining in as the stream goes along.
Yes.
First, before we get into it, we'll say hello to people that are in the chat. We'll say big up Chris. It says big up everyone. Big up Chris.
Big up,
Hope
Chris.
You're well. Big up Zoe. She says big up Dermot, Ellie, and Philip.
Big up Zoe.
And big up Chris. Me and Chris were having a bit of a joke. Right? Chris is now allowed back onto Twitter. And I'm actually running a book. Right, I will start a book. How long he's going to last? Now, I'm giving him to after the Wolves game. He tells me it's going to be the end of the transfer window. So, Chris, you know, let's see. But big up, Chris. Thank you for joining in. And also, we've got William Kelly from Down Under. Big up, William. I hope you're all right. He says, hi, guys. Can't wait for the Wolves game tomorrow. Nor call me, William. They owe us one. They owe me and Philip one from last season.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've got Chris says, and Dermot, I will last on Twitter to at least Sunday. Chris, I'm not giving you to about. I'm giving you to about 9:30 tonight before you're banned again. We got Badder TFC says, big up everyone, Dermot, Ellie, and Philip. Big up, Badder. Thank you for joining us.
Big up.
And then Chris says hi to William. Harry Winks, biggest fan. Kelly, big up, Chris as well. And also, I want to thank people. I want to thank our Patreon members as well. Where is it? Oh, yeah. I want to thank Ellie and Philip, who are Patreon members. Leo from My Home Hotspur as well. And Izan as well. If you want to become like these great people, these legends of YouTube, if you want to be like them, the link is in the chat there. And all you got to do is hit in the link. You've got three different charities. You've got three different levels. You've got the Sun level, you've got the THFC Till I Die level, and the Harry Kane level. Look, I know things are tight out there, prices are up, but any little help because it helps us grow the channel and it helps us get better content for you. So the links are there. And we've got one more trip. So Chris has said 23 minutes to go then. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We'll start with some news. I'll start with you, Philip, and then I'll go to you, Ellie. Mr. Conte, he got away with it, didn't he? He only got a fine, and Mr. Tuchel got a 1-match ban.
Well,
now,
at
how
long
do you
last,
feel about that?
At long last, the FA saw a bit of sense because there's no way Conte should have even been charged with that. Okay, I know they had the spat earlier on, but Tuchel trying to grab hold of his hand and not let him go, that was totally down to Tuchel. As the Sun, in the typical unbiased way, they said Thomas tried to shake Conte's hand. Work that one out.
Yeah.
call him by his Christian name and Conte by his surname. So that shows you with the Sun. The Sun are probably running a headline in the morning how unfair it all is to them poor little Thomas Tuchel. He got what he deserved. He got a 1-match ban and a 35,000 quid fine, which is probably about 10 minutes wages to him. But he will be available tomorrow because he can. It's suspended for a time being. But I'm delighted that Conte off, because it would have been an absolute travesty if he'd have been punished at the same level that Tuchel was.
Yeah. I mean, Ellie, this is a quote from him from the press conference. He said, It's right to stay in my place. Then I repeat for sure, after this type of situation, you can learn a lot alone. But at the same time, I think for many situations, I was good to keep calm. And it goes on. I mean, Tuchel was out of order. But we all know Conte's hatred towards Chelsea anyway.
Yeah.
So do you think Conte was doing the clock, get his team? Do you think the team got motivated by what was happening on the touchline?
Yeah, he did, but I would have put a little bit of a spin on it, right? I'm thinking Tuchel wanted to do the waltz, and then Conte said, "I only do the tango, mate." Do you know what?
Yeah.
It's such a two, half a dozen of one and half a dozen of the other. Right? He grabs his hand, he's yanking his hand. What do you expect Conte to do? He's going to have a reaction, isn't he? Right? First of all, he's protecting his hand because he's like crushing it. Right? So I think he's out of order. I don't think Conte should have got the red card. I think only Tuchel should have got it because he instigated it.
Tuchel should have been gone already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anthony Taylor had stuck to the letter of the law. That 100 yards made down the touchline of the second goal was outside the technical area. That's technically a football offence. And that would have been 2 yellow cards, bye-bye, see you in the stand, and there would have been no handshake at the end.
Yeah. See, football's a game of passion, right? So they're two passionate managers, but there's a code of conduct as well. Like you've got to obey the rules sometimes. Sometimes you can let it go, but that was blatant. That was a blatant 100-yard dash. Yeah. And then he walks past Conte. And then when Conte goes into his area, he gives him all the jib, and he's trying to really fight him to get him out of his area. And people are pulling Tuchel back. I think the guy, he's got a screw loose.
He has. The truth. We're going to go through a bit of news to start with, and then we'll get into the Wolves game. We've got a possible lineup for the game, and we're going to also go through the history of Tottenham against Wolves, the two big games we played with them in our past, and we're going to get the guys' opinions on them, and also Sunday is tomorrow's game as well, and we also will have where you can watch it, and bits and bits like that. Well, we'll go through the news first. Well, you're talking about passion, Ellie. Yeah. I want to start with this one. Now, Graham Souness said after the game, his comments after the game, it's been the man's game. And as a former Spurs ladies footballer, were you offended by what he said, or did you think he was only talking about the games he was seeing? Because a few other people, like a few of the Lionesses, have taken it the wrong way. They've taken it like it's a dig at them. So how do you, as a woman, as a former Spurs player and a woman, how did you find these comments? Did they offend you?
No, it didn't offend me in one bit, right? Because he's saying it's a man's game, referring to the men who are playing it on that day. He's not having a dig at women. In my book, he was innocent. He didn't mean any harm by it. That's my opinion. Because in the context of what he was talking about, he's basically saying that it's an aggressive game, it's a passionate game, the men are playing it, it's a man's game in that respect. He's not saying it's only a man's game. If he had put the word only, that's different, but he didn't. So I don't take any offence to that, to tell you the truth.
No. And Philip, what did you reckon of his comments? I know you're not Graham Souness' biggest fan, and I know you don't listen much.
For once, I'm going to defend him. I think he meant it. He was after watching 2 matches on Super Sunday there, whatever they call it, and that's what he was referring to. And it might not have come out just as well as he should have done. But he did not mean any offence to the ladies' game at all. And for once,
No.
I'll stick.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Philip. I mean, my opinion is, I think it's been over-egged. I think some of the lionesses have actually made more out of it than what it was. He was talking about the games he saw, and I'm surely, and he did on Talksport on Monday when Jim Wright asked him the question. He didn't back down. He stuck to what he was saying and tried to
Yeah.
explain it. And I don't think he meant any harm by it. But there will be people
No.
who will take offence to it, and it's a PC world now, so you have to be very careful what you say.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And which is
Yeah.
a shame, really. Also, I'll start with you, Philip. Mike Dean, he came out in his column, right? Now, this is going back to Romero pulling the Chelsea player's hair. There was apparently in the laws, it's not actually against the law to pull somebody's
Just
hair.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just general, just shithousery. Mike Dean didn't say nothing about it. Tottenham then go on to get the equaliser from the second corner. But holy moly, a couple of days later, Mike Dean comes out in his column is saying, I should have made Anthony Taylor go and look at the monitor. With Mike Dean now saying this, Philip, he should have asked the ref to go and look at the monitor with the hair pull. Does there need to be a major overhaul of VAR, or what needs to be done, or do you think it's all right as it is, and we just let these little dark arts and these little? It's part of the game.
Yeah, well, there needs to be a major overhaul of Mike Dean for a start. Because, I mean, let's face it, no referee has ever come out and commented, or very rarely after a match, the way he's done. Like, I know he's hiding behind the VAR screen now that he's no longer a referee. He should have kept his mouth shut. All he's done now is give the Chelsea yobs more excuse to cry into the river about what happened last Sunday. So, I mean, he should have kept his mouth shut. The game is over. It cannot really be replayed. You can't undo what he's done. He made a mistake, but there's no need to go public about it. The public had already made up their mind he made a mistake. He's only made himself look weak now by doing that. And as regards a major overhaul of VAR, I mean, okay, we've all got our criticisms of VAR. Some teams seem to always get the right decisions. This season, though, I like the way the referees are letting things go a little bit more. There's a little bit more physicality being allowed into the game, and I think that's good. If they can allow now the benefit of the doubt to the attacking player in the VAR situation, then that would be great for everybody. I mean, not disallowing Harry Kane's goal because his toenail was offside, or his shoulder was offside. I think that's got to be done. And but I see there'll be a change of head of the referees panel shortly. I think what do you call your man, Howard Webb, will soon be the boss of the referees. So we'll see, does he change anything? But Jimana at the moment, what do you call him? Oh God, he's an ex-referee. Can't forget his name anyway. He hasn't exactly done a very good job. Maybe that's why he's being replaced.
Yeah, maybe. So, Ellie, I mean, what do you think to it? I mean, personally, myself, I think you can't do nothing about it now. It's just giving Chelsea more bloody ammunition. For me, I didn't see personally anything wrong with it. I mean, players in the 80s did that, and the 60s and 70s did that. A lot worse went on in the 70s and 80s.
Of course. Oh my God.
For me, I think Mike Dean just loves being in the limelight. He just loves being talked about. Me, for VAR, I think it needs tightening up. You look at other sports; they have other people there. Decisions are done instantly. We'll carry on.
You know what I would like to see? I'd like to try to get this in first. I would like to see what goes on in rugby. That when the VAR official is talking to the referee, you hear it, and there can be no mistakes made. They're talking it through. Everybody hears what's going on. You know exactly what's happening, and there can be no misunderstandings, if you like. Now, I doubt that'll ever happen, but I think it would be a good move forward is to hear what's actually said and the reason given for the decision there and then, rather than offside VAR.
I
agree with you, Ellie.
The thing is, he's stoked the fire, hasn't he? He's put a few more embers on the fire. But the thing is, if he's going to say that, he should really caveat it by saying, well, James pulled down Sonny and he didn't get sent off. And if there was one player who could score a goal from there, that would be Sonny. So he's blatantly stops a goal scoring opportunity because I think he only had Thiago Silva to beat, and he can beat him for pace. He would have shot past him.
You're right, but you see, they won't do that. They'll only mention what fits their agenda, and that was Romero pulled Gerald's Cucurella's hair, you know.
Yeah.
But mind you, did you see the video just after that happened of the Cucurella's positioning? He must have been totally shocked because he just stood there. He never even reacted when the corner came across. The Harry Kane scored. So, you know, whatever Romero did actually worked.
Yeah, I think he was counting how many hairs he'd lost.
He'll probably be a skinhead tomorrow. He's probably got his haircut during the week.
You know what I mean? But the thing is, right, you pull a shirt, it's more or less the same thing because you're tugging at a shirt. All right, the hair is a physical thing, but, you know, if it's there to be pulled, Romero thought, right, I'll have a little tug. You know, you know. But the thing is, it's not an acceptable thing. We know this, right? We're laughing about it, but it's not acceptable. And he was lucky not to get sent off, really.
I mean, let's face it, we got away with it.
Very lucky. Yeah.
We got away. But listen, how many times have we not got away with it? Go back to last season's game, one of the games against Chelsea, when Thiago was blown over by a gust of wind and the referee gave a foul against Harry Kane and a goal was disallowed.
Yeah. You see what I mean?
I know. Leo Gomez a few years ago, the ball hadn't even reached the line. And I think it was Mike Dean gave the goal against him. So, like, we've had so many bad decisions at Stamford Bridge. I'll take that one last Sunday with absolute open arms and say, bring them on. Let's have more of them.
I honestly think that point would mean more for us at the end of the season than it will for
Chris's
Chelsea.
Point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Chris's point is on point as well because Kulu was fouled.
Exactly.
He was barged off the ball.
I was screaming at the TV.
Goal.
I was saying
that's a foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Chelsea, they conveniently forget that they got away with murder a couple of times as well, but it's only the Spurs incidents that are talked about.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's so true. But big up everyone. Please keep your comments coming in. We've got some great ones in there tonight. Really do.
Yeah. Well done, Chris.
Also, we'll go back a little bit. He's gone. Mr. Burger King has finally left Tottenham.
Yes,
he's now joined Napoli for a €1 million loan fee, and then I think it's a 32 million buy clause, I think, at the end of that loan deal, if I'm right.
It's either 30 or 32, one of the two. Either way, we've got him off our books.
Yes. Ellie, how delighted are you to hear that news?
Very delighted, because I hate players who've got all talent and then they don't use it. You know, there's players that are less talented, like my man Højbjerg. He's not a quarter of a talent of Ndombele in terms of skill, in terms of, you know, moving the ball quickly, penetrating, vision, everything the boy's got, and he's wasted his talent. Now, what they're going to do in Italy, are they going to take him to confession or something like that? I confess my sins, you know.
They'll probably take him to Maradona's doctor, Ellie. That's what they'll probably do. Yeah,
or take him to the graveside. Bow in front of him.
I'm just going to check the number of McDonald's shops in Naples.
You know what I mean?
Oh God! I say
he likes a bit of jerk chicken as well, because I caught him over at the Jamaican shop when I was sitting in there. He came in. He likes a bit of jerk chicken.
You're even chasing today's plays, Ellie. What we're going to do with you? I don't know.
Oh no, Ellie, I would have kept that one to yourself now.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'll never let this down, am I?
No, you won't. No. Philip, I mean, we've got him gone. We've got Lo Celso is going out the door. Hill looks to be going back to Valencia, and also Winks is looking to be going to Valencia, for what I'm hearing. Are you happy with getting these players out the door? And did you think we will get them out the door?
They have to go, and they will be gone by the end of the transfer window. But I'm I'm not going to depend on that money coming ever from Napoli for a permanent transfer.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
face it, France last season and sat on his arse for the whole season, did nothing. What's he going to do this
Yeah.
season? Has he got to get up and go? And he has to realise he's getting towards last chance saloon. And for a player with so much talent, is absolutely tragic.
It is.
Just to get him out of the stadium and off the training ground, and 200,000 grand a week, 200,000 a week back into the coffers is great business. But I don't think we've heard the last of Mr. Ndombele. I'm feeling next May he'll be back with his tail between his legs, and we'll be doing this all over again.
I think then we'll just cancel the contract.
Yeah.
Right. I look. Also, another bit of news. It was Harry Kane's 10th anniversary yesterday of the Premier League. To us, I think he's the greatest striker the Premier League has ever seen. I mean, we've got some of his stats here for the all-time Spurs all-time record. If that can see, I mean, Philip, do you want to talk us through them? I mean, they're remarkable stats. Really,
the one that got me, no, it's not the most one you think of initially. You only think of the Premiership goals, which is a fantastic record of 184 goals in 281 matches. But look at his European, 68 matches, I think, 44 goals.
Fantastic.
That's incredible. That really is incredible.
Yeah.
And to look at his overall stats, now he's made 9 more appearances than Jimmy Greaves, right? And he's only 17 goals behind him. So I think he'll overtake Jimmy's overall total this season. He won't get to his league total unless he has a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a guy that, 10 years ago, a lot of players, I saw a tweet today where some guy was apologizing because on the day Harry Kane was given his debut, he tweeted Tim Sherwood. Tim Sherwood, what are you doing? Harry Kane? Question mark. That tweet,
that backfired on him.
So, absolutely brilliant player. Just a pity he had that little bit of a hiccup towards the start of last season that kept him out of things until November. But the guy was back. You saw the passion in his face when he scored that goal on Sunday against Chelsea.
He did. And really, the question for you two, and I love everyone's answer for this in the chat as well. Where does Harry Kane rank in Tottenham history? And is he our Jimmy Greaves? And I'll start with you, Ellie, and then I'll come to you, Philip, if that's okay. Sorry. Start with you. Is he our Jimmy Greaves, Ellie?
He's a different player to Jimmy Greaves, right? Jimmy Greaves scored goals like Sonny used to score. Well, Sonny scores, sorry. So you can't really compare them because Harry Kane's like an all-round footballer. He can pass, he can take the ball, bring it down. He's got great vision. Jimmy Greaves was like an inspirational striker. He'd take the ball from the halfway line or even from the goalkeeper, and he'd dribble past and score goals like that. It's occasionally scored tap-ins, but most of his goals were like worldies. Harry Kane's very instinctive in front of goal. If I would still give it to Jimmy Greaves. I know.
Well, no, the question is he our Jimmy Greaves, Ellie? Is he? Is he our Jimmy Greaves for this time?
I would put him up there with Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah,
he's our Jimmy Greaves because the first thing you look for is in a footballer, can he finish? If he's a striker, can he finish? And by God, can he finish?
Yeah,
he can score with his head. He can score tap-ins. He can score long distance ones. Free kicks, not so well at, but he can work on that. But I would put him up there in terms of being our Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah. Philip, before I go, I mean, this is the fella. I love this fella's name at the bottom here, Taffy O'Callaghan. I mean,
was he Irish?
No, it was Welsh.
Yeah. But
Taffy's a Welsh name, isn't it?
Yeah. But what a name! Honestly, God, what a name! Taffy O'Callaghan. I have to say, I did laugh at that.
Taffy O'Callaghan.
Philip, did you see here 281 appearances, 184 goals? I mean, even his FA Cup goals, Philip, 19 appearances, 14 goals. I mean, he is a goal machine, isn't he?
He is, and I'll tell you, like he is our Jimmy Greaves in so much is that he is the best goal scorer we've had since Jimmy Greaves, right? He's a different type of player. Jimmy Greaves, I had the pleasure of seeing Jimmy Greaves play a number of times. No, never at White Hart Lane, though. I saw him always in away games. But and my abiding memory of Jimmy Greaves, and I've heard this before, but I always think it's a great story. Jimmy Greaves could disappear for 89 minutes of a match.
Yeah.
He might as well not been on the pitch. Now, you can never say that about Harry Kane. Harry Kane is always going to be there, right? I remember one game away to West Bromwich Albion, and we were getting absolutely battered. There was no 0-0, 89 minutes gone. Jimmy hadn't got a touch. Some big centre-half had him in his pocket the whole game. The last minute, West Brom put 9 players up on attack for a corner. Pat Jennings caught the ball, threw it, as Pat Jennings could do, threw it out to Jimmy Greaves. Jimmy was off his bike before the centre-half could even react. Ball was in the back of the net 3 seconds later. We won 1-0. It was the only touch he'd had in the whole game. He did that so many times for Spurs that he was an infuriating player. But by God, you couldn't not take your eyes off him.
No.
So from that point of view, Harry puts in a bigger shift than Jimmy Greaves does. But then again, he's playing on good pitches. Jimmy was playing on mud baths, sand beaches, boots that were you could barely pick up. They were so heavy balls. Yeah. Centre halves. Another story with Jimmy Greaves was in his early days with Chelsea, they went up to play Bolton. Right, Bolton were a real rough, tough team, all short haircuts and hobnail boots. And Jimmy was lining up for the kickoff, and he heard the fullback, the right back, say to the right wing back, "What will you do if that young scamp gets by you?" He said, "Don't worry, I'll chip him back to you." So that's the sort of thing that Jimmy Greaves had to put up with, Yeah. So, we've been lucky to have 2 of the best strikers in British history on our books.
Yeah.
I doubt that once Harry Kane overtakes Jimmy Greaves, we will have to tip our hats and say, yes, he is the greatest.
Yeah. Do you know what? I wanted to add something to that, because all those really bad pitches, right? But Jimmy Greaves used to glide like a gazelle. He was so graceful, and his running style.
Manchester United goal.
Oh my God, what a fantastic goal. I had the pleasure of seeing him when I was 5 years old, and then he left in 69. So basically, my abiding memory of him is how graceful he was. And then my dad used to show me old reels of him, right? Because he said, "Come here, Ellie, sit on my lap, watch Jimmy Greaves." And all I could remember is how graceful he was, and the way he put the ball in was like a piece of cake for him.
Yeah, it was something.
It just came natural.
Yeah, it was something Bill Nick said, and they did 100 years back in the 80s. Did 100 years, sort of little mini documentary on Tottenham through the years. And Bill Nick was saying he was like telling players like Ozzy Idealist and Grass Crooks and Archibald that he never belted the ball. He just placed it. He just placed it in the corner.
Yeah, he did.
Or wherever.
If there's any young Spurs fans who want to really see how good Jimmy Greaves is, just type Jimmy Greaves into YouTube and see some of the videos that come out. And they're mostly in black and white. And it'll give you an indication of the type of pitches and the defenders he was playing against. I mean, some of the tackles back in the 60s, you'd be arrested for GBH at the moment.
You would be. Honestly,
I love Coover's one.
Yeah, I do. I actually will read that.
Coover's so funny.
If Harry Kane is our Jimmy Greaves, then who is Jimmy Greaves? Because he's Jimmy Greaves. And Jimmy Greaves is really Harry Kane, then do any of them exist? I need a drink after that.
I'm just glad they do exist, Coover. I'm glad they both exist.
Just call him Jimmy Kane. Jimmy Kane,
there we go.
Yeah.
And then big up Brad Matthews. Thanks for coming in. And Lisa as well. She's popped in as well. Big up, Lisa. Thank you for coming in.
All right, Lisa.
Greavesy and Kane, the best ever Spurs strikers. And I remember Martin Shivers. I mean, you had Martin Shivers. You had Archibald. You had Grass Crooks. You had Gary Lineker.
Colin Lee.
Yeah.
I won't mention Colin Lee. No, but who was a very good striker who I used to like in the 70s? It's John Duncan. I really liked him. Really decent striker. Very good in the air, very strong. Even though he was quite slim, he was still quite strong. Yeah, I liked him.
Chris said, I've lasted past 9:30 and still banned from Twitter. Still not Bamford. You will get there, Chris. You will get there.
Don't worry.
William Kelly, St. Klinsmann, yeah, another
Oh,
top
yeah.
striker.
Brilliant.
And,
Another one who runs right on the pitch like a gazelle. Fantastic running style.
And we can't forget Robbie Keane. We are going to do a Robbie Keane player profile in the next few weeks, and we also going to do a Glenn Hoddle one as well. So we're going to do them for you. Right, let's get into the Wolves game.
Yes.
Right, we first actually, that's our Premier League now against Wolves. We played 16, won 8, drawn 3, lost 5, 28-4, 21 against. The most goals in the game for Spurs against Wolverhampton Wanderers was actually done by Bobby Smith. He scored 4 in the 60-61 season.
Yeah, that's a double winning season.
Yeah, and the first time we actually played them, if I can find it, where is it? I had it here. I will get there.
I don't think they were called Wolves at first, were they?
No, I don't think so. I can't
remember their name, but they weren't called Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Our biggest home win against them was 6-1 1982, and our biggest away win was 4-0 in 1960. Bobby Smith there. Our longest sequence without a loss was 9 games between 1981 to 2018, 8 wins plus 1 draw, and our longest sequence without a win was 6 games from 1969 to 1971. And this is. Yeah. The referee for tomorrow's game is Hooper.
He's in most of them.
S. Hooper.
Hooper.
Yeah.
Hooper. And then if you want to if you are in the UK, it is on 12:30 kickoff. It is live on BT Sport as well.
The volume turned down because of that Michael Owens on it. I just can't take it.
I know. 2 players unavailable tomorrow. Romero's injured, which I want to get into about the injury to Romero. Some people are saying he'll be back for the next game. Some people said he may not be out for longer. And also Skip is actually coming. Skip is injured, but we have an update on Skip, and this is from Conte's press conference. It says about Skip. I think hopefully he will be ready quickly. We need this. We need his performance. He's really a good guy. And I think for the period when we have to play a lot of games, he will be available. So does that give you confidence, guys? I thought you, Philip, with Dolly Skip now coming back. And how do you feel with the Wolves game tomorrow and Romero out injured? Does it worry you?
Well, first of all, I'm glad to see Oliver Skip coming back, but he's been lucky with injuries since the latter half of last season. I mean, I don't exactly know who he's going to replace in the team, but I'll tell you, it'll be, there's a lot of games coming up, so he will get in there. Romero being injured is unfortunate, and it's because of that Corella stood on his ankle in the first 9 minutes, or his calf or something in the first 9 minutes. That's probably the injury that's done him. But I do believe his people are saying he'll only be out for this game. And I'm saying that hopefully because with Man City coming up down the road in a few weeks, we need him back for that. I don't like this thing where he'll be out for 4 or 5 weeks. I think that's been a little bit too pessimistic.
Yeah.
And now without no real facts behind it, but I think his own people were quick enough to refute the original 4 weeks, saying no, it's only going to be 1 week. So let's hope they're right. And but unfortunately, injuries with Spurs have a habit of elongating themselves.
That's
fortnight turns into a month. So let's hope now there's not history of that. They're a little bit concerned that he's had a bit of too many injuries since he came to us. Really, when you think about it. Okay, I know one of them was an Argentinian inflicted thing, but let's hope he's back because we need him badly. We need his shithousery, one other thing, and aggression.
Yeah.
Ellie, does it worry you with him out, or do you think we're going to be fine? We'll just bring in Longley, or it could be Longley or Sanchez.
Longley's fit,
yeah.
Who would you prefer?
Fit.
Who would you prefer? Would you prefer Longley or Sanchez, or was that a silly question?
The thing is, Longley's on the left, isn't he? So he's not going to take up Romero's spot. The one who's going to take up Romero's spot is Sanchez. So I'm feeling sorry for you. Because you go into meltdown every time you hear his name, sorry. But
I get twitch, Ellie. Every time I hear Sanchez, I get a little twitch. It's
Sanchez twitch.
Yeah. I mean, I called him Bambi on Ice last year when I went to see the Wolves game.
Yeah.
He literally was falling all over the place.
Yeah.
He cannot defend. He cannot do. He's just. I mean, I asked you this question now, Ellie, and I want to come back to Philip with this one. When
Yeah.
Toby and Yan were there, did they make him look better than he really was?
Of course. It's like now that goes without say, but now Romero being there makes Dyer look better
Yeah.
because we know that these two boys, they're not good enough for us to challenge. We can't go with the same 11 because we're going to get the same result or worse.
Yeah.
If we finish top 4 again, like if we finish 4th, for example, we haven't bettered ourselves. So we've got to go and get better. We can't rely on Sanchez, Dyer and Davies to get us to where we want to go. And I'm surprised that Conte, I don't know, I don't hear any noise coming out of his camp that we're pushing. But there might be, but I don't personally see anything written that we're going for any extra players. What we're doing, we're going for midfielders, set piece merchants, No, strengthen the back because that's going to win you leagues. Everybody knows this. Look, Liverpool did it. They just brought in Van Dijk.
Yeah.
And they brought in the goalie afterwards, after their goalie, Karius, I think his name was, made that blunder in the Champions League. They thought, right, we got to get that position filled. See, they do it the right way. Now, what have we done? We've gone and bought players that are a bit of a mismatch. We didn't need particular players in those positions because we already were strong in most of those. But at the back, we're not strong. And if you look at our stats, we've scored 6, so we're strong scoring goals, but conceded 3. Whereas Man City have conceded 0. And that tells you a lot. Because over the season, if we go on that trajectory, we'll be way behind them again.
I mean,
it worries me.
Yeah, Philip, I'm going to bring up the team here now, just quickly for the people. I know it's covered off and I apologise. And I'll take that banner off as well. I mean, that's the team there. I mean, that's the team that possibly looks to start tomorrow. I mean, where does anything in that team worry you?
I'm not seeing it there, Dermot.
All right. Well, you got. What I'll do? Okay, I'll take that off, and then I'll put the.
No, I remember. I saw it earlier there. Right.
Yeah.
Listen. Just to go back to Ellie's point there, we have bought players, but we've bought players to strengthen the squad, which will be needed to mount a challenge on 4 fronts. Right. We will be getting a centre back. I have absolutely no doubts there will be. Now it might be the last
Philip.
season we will get one because let's face it, Paratici is no fool. He knows exactly we need a centre back. He's out there searching for one at the moment. They're not that easy to come by.
No.
And I'd say the fact that there's a bit of a news embargo on it because they don't want to be putting out rumours that we can't substantiate. So I think maybe in another week's time or so, we will have a fullback. And then we'll have pretty much, if we can get this midfield guy, Matalanta, the Ukrainian lad, then we've got a squad that can compete and with 2 teams, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've cover and we've competition for places in every single position. And that's the way you've got to have it. Okay. The quality mightn't be as good as Man City's. We don't have the money that Man City have. So we're never going to match that. So, we've got to cut our cloth according to what money we have available. And I think we've done pretty good on that so far. And we'll do better.
I think.
Go on there.
I agree with you, Philip. I think we've done well in the window. I think we will get a centre back in. I think we'll get 2 in before the end of the window. I really don't think. It's 2 weeks left. 13 days left. I think we will get it in. I mean, you look at the starting lineup here. You got Luis, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis. Would you? I mean, big up Paddy Harnett as well. He's in the chat. Big up Paddy.
Yeah.
He said Perisic starting ahead of Segi. Says Would you put Sanchez? Would you put Langley again ahead of Sanchez?
I'd put Langley in the team. Okay, it might not be on the side he likes to play on, but I mean that's no big deal for centre back, really.
Yeah.
Put him wherever he can fit in there. Put him in Romero's place. And if a back three of Langley, Dyer, and Davis. And I would the only other change I would go for is possibly Perisic for Sessegnon. Sessegnon looks like a fish out of water against Chelsea. And remember, you want to remember the Wolves game last season when he was substituted after. So that's the change I would make. I also think that possibly Bissouma will come into the side, possibly ahead of
I
Betancourt.
hope.
And Ellie, I know you won't like to hear this, but I saw later earlier on the internet that Real Madrid are considering a bill for Højbjerg if your man
Oh my
Casemiro
God.
will become close to Man United.
Do
So
you know
like that,
what?
I
I was
know.
just about to say that, Philip.
You
You're
see,
spot on with that.
do you see the quality of my player,
Mm.
right? Real Madrid want him. You
yeah.
see, so
Oh,
that
yeah,
tells you
I'm not
something.
doubting that. But I mean, your man's only
He's
going to
not
Man
the
United,
best
isn't he?
technical footballer, but he gives you a lot in your team on and off the ball. So, if he goes, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
What am I going to call myself?
It could be only 12. Like, the newspapers at the moment.
Yeah.
Who can be transfer? Who can we try to unsettle at Tottenham now? Højbjerg is the latest.
Yeah.
I just want to go back on the transfer window. I just don't think we've done enough, boys. We've strengthened our squad, but have we strengthened enough to go and challenge for the cups? Because to win a cup is very difficult because you're going against Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, all those, and then you've got the teams that really want to win their first cup, and they'll try even harder in the League Cups and the FA Cups.
We got to the semi-final.
Yeah, but I just don't think we've done enough. We need to
I
strengthen
think
in the
we have.
core. I think we need to strengthen in the core positions that we need. Right wing back, because it doesn't look like he fancies Spence.
You're ignoring Jed Spence then.
No, I'm not ignoring him, but I'm just saying we've seen 20 minutes of him.
Yeah,
now, that tells you
he's
something.
one for later on in the season once he's bedded in. But like we got to the semi-final of the Caribou last season with that team that started the league. We've since added Bissouma, who's a class act. We've added Perisic.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Andre. So we definitely have strengthened.
I'm not disputing
get
that. I'm not
the centre back and maybe an attacking midfielder. Then I think we'll have a window that none of us could have dreamed of.
I'm not disputing that. It's better than we've done in the past, but I still think we're short. I still think we need these core positions filled, because if we fill those core positions, you see how different our results are going to be and how many goals we let in.
What I would say to that, Ellie, is there's 13 days left, and I do believe we will get them positions filled.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that we're not going to fill them. I'm just saying we have to.
I think we needed another midfielder in Bissouma. We did need another striker to cover Harry Kane. I think Richarlison is a brilliant buy. And you look at the difference him and Perisic made when they come on against Chelsea. I mean, the three of them changed the game basically.
Richarlison's a very technical player as well. He can hold the ball very well. And he can run with the ball.
We need another centre back. I really do agree. I think right wing back. I think Emerson's had a whole okay start to the season.
Yeah, but is he at the level we need? That's the problem.
Yeah, but
if we're going to settle for Emerson, are we really ambitious?
Yeah, but then as I've heard people say, then you're going back to Aurier. I mean,
yeah, but you can't do that. We're saying Emerson, is he good enough to take us to that next level?
I think
you compare him to the other right wing backs, and he falls short.
Yeah,
he does. However good he's playing.
Yeah, I just think wait to the end of the era before we can really give this window what we think of it, because there is 13 days left.
Yeah.
There is still a lot more to do.
Anyone that's saying we haven't done a good window is either been asleep for the last 2 years,
I'm not saying it's not a good one. I'm just saying not saying it hasn't been a good window. We've filled in some really good positions, but we need to fill the other gaps.
Are you saying, Ellie, it's good, but it could be better?
Yeah, in terms of the positions that we need that are more important than the ones we've already filled. It's very good to have another left wing back in Longley, but we've got Sessegnon and we've got Perisic and we've got Reguilon if he stays. But the one that we really need is an upgrade on. We really need an upgrade on Dyer. We do.
So we may
And then
have
we
it in
need
Jed
an
Spence.
upgrade on Emerson.
We're actually downgrading what Paratici's skills are at the minute by saying we don't think Jed Spence is good enough. We haven't seen him play yet. I watched Jed
I'm not.
Spence last season. I watched Jed
I've
Spence a
watched
lot
him.
last season. I think
I've
Jed
watched
Spence,
him. He's a very, very good player.
brilliant young player. He could be our
Yes,
Trent
but
Alexander-Arnold, but
but
we've got to give him
there's
a
a
chance.
but with him.
We've got a
We
thing here.
don't know.
If you come back to the January when Bentancur and Kulichevsky came in, and they were classed as rejects straight away. Now, anyone that called them rejects has egg on their face big time at the moment. So we've got to wait till the end of the season to see. Then we can judge the window, whether it's a 6 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10.
My honest opinion on it, look, we've got 7 plays in. We could be getting 8 or 9 before the end of the window. I
want us to be reactive.
Ellie, I agree with you that we do need a centre back. We've got Longley to cover for Sanchez, so Longley can fit into there, or Davis on the left side. I agree. Everyone's agreeing we need to go and get a centre back. We all agree on that. We all agree it has been a good window. When was the last time we got 7 or 8 players in before? We got 7 players in before the start of the season. I can't remember the last time.
Can you imagine being here 3 years ago when we didn't buy anybody for 3 windows? Then we'd have reason to complain. That was serious.
I'm not actually complaining. I'm just saying that.
No, I'm not saying you're complaining, I'm just saying I think we're like hardly any of the new players have even had a game for us yet. No, you think about it. We started the season.
Yeah, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see how. But the thing is, I want us to be reactive, I want us to be proactive as well in terms of the positions that we do need to strengthen if we are going to make a serious challenge. I don't want to finish 4th again.
Yeah, what do you say? What do you say to Coover here? He says, "Well said again, Ellie. It's no good just sitting on the fence and flip flopping." He seems to like flip flopping, that word. With opinions, we should be doing so much. We should be doing so much more with our resources. We're supposed to be a big club, aren't we? What would you
that's
say
what
to
I'm
Coover,
saying.
Philip?
Well said, Coover.
We are a big club. We are a big club, and we bought players in this summer that Carlison, right, one of the top strikers in the league, potentially, right. Bissouma, who destroyed us single-handedly last season when Brighton played us at the home ground, right. We brought in Jed Spence. We brought in Longley, a proven international from France. I just don't know. I mean, maybe I'm stupid, but I think
you're not stupid. No,
we have done so much good this window. Yeah, it's not enough for a lot of people.
It's just
we do need a centre back. We do need a centre back.
Yeah,
I will be disappointed if we don't. But I think we're disrespectful to players. Like, we're not Man City. We can't call on Etihad Airways to buy to flout financial fair play and do what they like with it and spend millions on players. We can never do that. We can't do what Liverpool are doing either. What we've done, as far as I'm concerned, Arsenal have had a good window, Chelsea have had a good window, and we have had a very good window, which will be better when we get a centre back.
You look where we were this time last season.
And a creative midfielder, nice.
Last season we were an absolute disaster.
We need another player who can score us goals, guys, as well. Richarlison may give you 10, but we need another guy who can score us goals, because that makes a big difference.
That's 10 more than we had last season. Plus the midfielders are chipping in. Højbjerg's chipping in with goals. Even Eric Dyer's chipping in with goals. The goals are starting from other places other than Son and Kane now.
I think that's a direct action of Conte, because he's saying, look, go into the box. Yeah, we saw it last season as well. Get into the box. Reggie scored a couple like that. But what we have to do is score a few more to win the matches and then be solid at the back. Everybody knows we need a centre-back. That's not rocket science.
Look, personally, right, this is my cue. Now, I feel like I'm repeating, but this is... look, for me, where we were last summer looking for a manager, it took us forever to get a manager in. We were late in the transfer market, and then we got Kulusevski and Bentancur in January. This summer, I've been accused of flip-flopping because of my views on Levy. I've always said, look, I'm wanting to see what he does for us this summer. And for me, we've bought 7 players in. Now, maybe them players are not okay for everyone, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's the way the football world works. Everyone's got their own opinion, and everyone's opinion is the right opinion, which is how it should be. And we all respect everyone else's opinion. I mean, I respect Philip's opinion, I respect Ellie's opinion, I respect
Yeah.
Brian Daigle's, Kuva's, everyone's opinion. Everyone's
Yeah.
entitled to their own opinion. Personally, myself, I think we've had a good window. Yes, we need the centre back. I agree. We all agree that we need the centre back,
Yeah.
and especially with Romero out. But sometimes it isn't easy in getting these players in, because sometimes it's the other club that won't move because they want a couple of million more. Sometimes you have to ship players out to get that player in. So there could be a lot of different dots
And
that need to be
let's not
joined
forget
up.
the agents. The agents can be the
Yeah.
absolute ruination of any transfer deal.
Yeah, they can.
Blame them for a lot. Okay, William Kelly said we promised 150. But we spent 60 million on Richarlison, 30 million on Basuma, 15 million on Spence, 15 million on that new guy we sent back
I
to
think it's 25 on Basuma.
Maybe. We spent about 120 million, right? Which leads me to believe that money will still be spent. It will still be spent by the end of the season, by the end of the transfer window.
And I will judge it by the end at 11 o'clock on the 1st of September.
Exactly.
I
That's
mean,
all we can do.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
that's all we
And
can
we're
do.
never going to compete with Man City. Like, let's face it, Man City are going to walk the league this season. There's no doubt. We're not going to win the league this season. The best we can hope for is the Liverpool slip up and we can push for second.
Yeah.
Third, I think, is eminently gettable, and I'd be disappointed if we become less than third. It's the season after this. I think we're going to really feel the benefit of what's happening now. Conte has got his feet really under the table. The new players have had time to bed in, and we'll have more. And the more successful we are this season, the easier it's going to be to attract the A1 players next summer.
Yeah.
So,
what
there will be a
what
natural-
Brian Daigle says there.
Yeah,
is
I was just
good.
going to read this out, Ellie.
Goalkeeper next season.
Yeah, I was just going to read this out. And I love
It's
you.
very poignant.
Yeah, I'd love you two opinions on this. When you need a centre back, you know we desperately need a centre back. We are meant to be a big club, the club that Bill Nicholson built. We should be able to get any centre back Conte wants.
Yes,
what
I
would
agree
you say
with
to that?
Brian.
Can I start with Philip first, Ellie, and then I go
Yeah,
to you?
we should be able to. But Bastoni didn't want to leave Inter Milan. Antonio Conte can't go down there and grab him by the scruff of the neck and pull him on the plane and bring him to London. Players, for whatever reason, they might not want to come to the Premiership. Their club might not want to let them go. Their club might have slapped a huge transfer fee, which is totally unrealistic. I mean, okay, we all know the most unrealistic fee was what Nottingham Forest paid Wolves for that Morgan Gibbs White fella, 42 million for a guy that can't even get a game for Wolves. So there's an awful lot of factors involved why we don't get the players we're going after. Just because we had Bill Nicholson doesn't mean, or even we've got Conte, doesn't mean players are going to come to us. There's politics involved. There's everything involved. There's money involved. There's players who are comfortable in the Liga mightn't feel comfortable coming to the Premiership because you're moving up a gear completely. There's a huge amount of reasons why we don't get all the players we want. And we've got the right man on the job trying to do it. And as I said, he will do it. Now, whether we get the likes of the player that we want by the 31st of August, we shall have to wait and see. But I've no doubt there will be a centre-back coming in who is quality, and we can mould them into the Tottenham way of playing.
Yeah. I mean, Ellie, I just read the last two comments and then I get your thoughts on what Brian said. Drew, big up, welcome, says, evening, guys. Conte did say one in, one out, one in. One out, one in. That's how it works. So let's hold tight, get behind the players we have, believe in Conte. He could change water into wine. I actually agree with that 100%.
That's one thing we all agree on.
Bob Spur here, I agree as well. I couldn't care less if we spend 6 million or 160 million. 6 million or 160 million on a player. I'm a fan. I'm Spurs through and through, not an accountant. All I want is my team to be stronger. I'll win back support, bar Perisic. I mean, that's true. All I want is our team to be better. And, we're all fans at the end of the day. And he's right, we're not accountants. We're all passionate fans. Brian Daigle saying, Philip Brady, you're right with Bastoni, but there are other centre-backs available. Why not go for Skriniar? Why not go for Milovic or Nick Who's that? Sorry.
Ndika.
Who's to say we
Ndika.
haven't?
Name a few.
Who's to say we haven't? Who's to say we haven't?
Exactly.
I don't believe what the so-called in the nose come out with and say, "Oh, Spurs are after such and such and such and such." I believe it when they're wearing the shirt and they're holding the badge. So we don't know. We may have been after him. Skriniar, we've been after him for as far as the last 2 or 3 years. Again, does he not?
And
You know,
you can't really compare the Bill Nicholson years with what happens now, because in those days players didn't really have agents as such, right? And it might have been their mum and dads.
They were all English players or Scottish
all
players.
English
or Welsh
players. It probably was their brother or their mum and dad who looked after them. And what Bill Nicholson did, he identified that he needed a centre back, and he went out and got Dave Mackay. Right, so Paratici is a whole different kettle of fish. He might look at 10, 15, 20 players, and then he'll assess which ones he's going to go for. And it's always something that comes out of the blue, like when he got Kulu and Bentancur for us. Now, they're two players that have made a big difference to us at our first 11, not our squad, our first 11. But I'm sure they're cooking something. They are looking at players and seeing which one would fit in with Conte's system the best. They're not going to do a knee-jerk reaction to what the fans put in pressure, because at the end of the day, we want to get it right, because that position is vital to any club's success, not just our success. If you've got a solid back, everybody knows you can challenge for the top prizes in football.
Do you not think that Conte has given Paratici a list of centre-backs that he wants?
Yes.
Right? I'm sure most of them are unobtainable for one reason or another. But you can if we're sitting here screaming for new centre-back, you can be absolutely sure Antonio Conte is doing that with spades with Paratici.
Yeah.
Ringing him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, have you got somebody for me yet? So, you know, that's why I have no doubt we will bring a good centre-back.
I mean, you got William Kane. You got William Kane saying here, you can't blame us Spurs fans for wanting more. We've been so starved at success and decent players for 20 odd years. I want trophies. I want trophies. Now, if no buts, oh my beeping God, make it happen. I mean, we all agree that we want better players in the team. We all agree a Sanchez isn't a good player, isn't the right player. We all agree Dyer is not a good player. We all agree Emerson isn't the best right wing back. But you know, we've got players in, and we've still got 13 days left of the window, so that could all change. And if we need to, we could always. There's always January as well, because we've got the World Cup as well to break. So you know,
that's true.
I think
we've got to be patient as fans.
Yeah, I think also we've got
your impatience gets the best of you.
Yeah, I think we've got to look at the positive side. We've been proactive this summer more than any other summer in the transfer market. Okay, some of the players, some people don't like. There's going to be players people like, fans don't like. You're never going to please everyone. No. But one thing is, we all need to get behind the team and support them no matter what.
That's what I've been saying.
We'll always do that. We'll always do that.
But the problem is, it's starting already. I've been advocating a clean sheet for every player on the squad at the start of the season, right? But already it's starting to creep. Oh, he's not good enough, and he's not good enough. We played 2 matches. If we're struggling after 5 or 6 matches, fair enough, you know. But I just the negativity, the glass half empty scenario seems to be far more prevalent than the glass half full. Now I'm a glass half full. I'm a glass 3/4 full. I hope I'm a glass fully full by the end of August. And I suppose we all do that. But let's just sit back. Don't panic, and let's be a little bit patient. Because let's face it, Spurs always do business at the end of the transfer window when we do business.
I want to be a glass full at the end of the season.
Well, I want to be over.
In our cabinet.
We've
been starved of success, Philip.
Yeah.
So you can't blame the fans sometimes for being a bit impatient, because they don't see this team progressing as much as they want us to progress. You know, like I'm like going to come 60 years old this year, and I've only. The 1991 FA Cup was the last time we won the FA Cup. 2008 was the last time we won the League Cup. and we've had some barren years, 15 years now. So you get impatient. You think, well, will this team take us places? One thing we know is Conte will get the team playing in a certain style that will give us some success. It will bring us success. But even if he strengthens a bit more, and I'm sure he's got players that he's told Paratici to keep his eye on, then we might go places.
Yeah.
But we do. That's what it is. We don't see this team, this current team, being successful again, because you've got the same core team. He's playing the same 11, more or less. When he introduces the new boys, we'll see how it changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Well, listen, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if anyone. I forced myself to watch the last episode of that Arsenal sob story that was on
Oh my
Amazon.
God!
I'll tell you one thing. You think we're badly off? Have a look at that.
Yeah.
My God, they've got a Lego man as a manager who
I know.
Are about as inspirational as I don't know what. They're just so boring and so they'd make you nearly feel you'd be ringing up the Samaritans after listening to one of his.
Yeah. Your first phone call.
That's one thing. Arsenal might think they're our rivals this season. They're not going to be. I'm afraid they're not going to be. And also,
what I want to say, you're not negative if you want better for your club.
No, but you need to be. Yeah. You need to. We don't know what's going on in the background. We really do not know. All we hear is
keep my fingers crossed.
Keep our fingers crossed. This is going to be, not make or break the season. The pundits are tipping Spurs to finish third in the league. When did you ever see that?
No.
Right?
Well, when Gaza played, we finished third.
We're going to lose heavily to Wolves tomorrow. Right?
That was the last. I think. No, I mean we finished third and second with Poch as well, didn't we? We finished third in a 2-horse race.
But we still had a soft center to that team. I'm looking at a Spurs team at the minute with a lot of spike, a lot of steel.
That's one thing. Yeah, you can take your hat off to this team. They're fighters.
They've
got a hard shell about them.
Nobody is going to walk over Spurs this season.
No.
We've shown that at Chelsea last Sunday. We were down and out. We were playing absolute rubbish, and we still came away with it.
Yeah, we've got resilience.
Yeah. We're an image of our manager, and that showed last Sunday. I mean,
really are.
You can say what you want, but when was the last time we actually fought to get and took a point from Stamford Bridge? Not for a long while.
Exactly.
And I think I've said it, and I've said it before. That point will mean more to us at the end of the season, I think, than a lot of people realise. Because if you can take your points when you're playing badly and not playing good, then, that's something.
Just can I make a comment on Bob's first comment there about the
I bring it up there now.
I just want to make one comment about that, and I'm not going to discuss Arsenal anymore. During the entire programme, they kept showing the league table with Arsenal ahead of Spurs, right? The minute we went, that was it. The minute we went ahead of Arsenal, they didn't show the league table again. They finished off the show with a but. Now go on and enjoy all of these lads. Didn't show the league table. Barely mentioned that they missed out on the Champions League. So it was a cop out from their behalf. Like it was badly edited at the end, but it was edited to stop the Arsenal fans crying into their beer all summer.
I don't want to spoil it for Bob Spurs, so I won't mention the funniest thing I found, but he'll soon know when he watches it.
What I will say is sort of, who would you drop for the Wolves game? I mean, who would you? I'll start with you, Ellie. Who would you drop for the Wolves game? And would you start Perisic instead of Sessi on the? And what would you do?
100%. I mean, first of all, he's world class. Second of all, he's not scared to take on a player. Even at 33, he's still super fit.
Yeah.
And also, he links up the play a lot better. He's confident. He's got all the experience, and it will rub off on the team as well. And the way he plays, he picks up pockets of space that other players don't see. Sessegnon, however good he is defensively, attacking-wise, very, very poor. Although he did score against Southampton, but that's Conte's tactics. He's saying, get in there, son, and score a goal. But Sessegnon's still got a lot to learn in the game. and
Yeah.
watching Perisic can only be good for the lad because he has got certain skill sets in on, but I just feel that Perisic will offer us more. And from set pieces, you've got Harry Kane and Sonny waiting for them. And then if Richarlison's on, you've got 3 players there. So,
Yeah.
do you know what? I would actually drop Kulu because he had the stinker, give him a kick up the arse as well, and play Richarlison instead. Because you can't say, oh, well, he had a fantastic game against Southampton because he went missing. He tried, the boy. He tried, but he was completely bullied off the ball,
But
and he couldn't
he
handle
made them
it.
score the goal. He made them score the goal against Southampton.
Oh, I know that. I'm not saying about the Southampton. I'm saying against Chelsea. I would give
No,
him the
I
kick
wouldn't
up
drop
the
Kulu.
arse because he did it last year, Conte, and Kulu come back even better, and that boy can play. But it'll
I
be
don't see.
interesting to see Richarlison as well. Oh, Danny Kyriaku's in the chat.
He is, yeah. Big up, Danny.
Danny Kyriaku.
Who would you drop for the Wolves game, Philip?
I'd bring Perisic in for Sessegnon, definitely. I also think Basuma will come in. Now, I would probably for Bentancur, but I won't drop Kulusevski. I'd keep Richarlison to come on in the second half if Son isn't doing his business. But let's face it, Sonny is not passing where he ended up last season. It's just at this moment in time.
No.
He looks a yard off the pace, So, but that'll come back. That'll come,
Yeah.
So I only make one definite change, which is Perisic, and one possible change, Basuma, and leave the rest the way it is,
Yeah. Dan,
Obviously,
are you going tomorrow?
Someone's got to come.
I can't go because my daughters have booked Sister Act, and Sister Act or Spurs, come on, who wins? But I have to do the family thing, and it's already pre-booked, so I'll have a good day with my girls, and I can still watch the match before because it starts at 2:30.
Yeah.
The Sister Act, so I'll be rooting for us.
Well, this isn't the first time we've got a bit of a history with Wolves over the years, and we've met them in 2 finals. Now, the first final we met them was back in 1921, before all of us were twinkling in anybody's eyes.
We weren't even an egg.
Yeah. Well, okay, Ellie. Tom's putting here. It says Doherty in for Emerson.
Possibly.
I don't think Emerson deserves to be dropped though. Even though I don't rate him, he doesn't deserve to be dropped at the moment.
Let us know, Danny. Did you watch them documentaries me and Dave were talking about after the show the other night? Just let us know. Did you watch one of them? So we have met these teams before, and we met them all back in the FA Cup 1921. This was actually our run to the final, to the FA Cup final 21. We beat Bristol City 6-2 in round 1, Bradford City in round 2, and back days it was round 1 and there was no third round. We had started round 1. Round 3 we beat Southend United. The quarterfinals, then we beat Aston Villa 1-0, and then we beat Preston North End, who back then were actually a big cup side back then.
Yeah.
We beat them 2-1 at Hillsborough, which we've had a couple of victories at Hillsborough over the years.
Yeah.
And we played Wolves again, I think, in the semi-final of the FA Cup in 81, which, we beat them, I think, we drew them away at Hillsborough, didn't we? And then we beat them at Highbury. And then, of course, we beat them in the final at Stamford Bridge, 1-0. Jimmy Dimmick got the winner there. And this was actually the side. I actually found all this earlier for Tottenham. Not many names we probably would recognise.
No.
And that was the second part. We've got Jimmy Dimmick.
Jimmy Dimmock was quite a legend, they said.
And there was that Bert Bless, who was one of the only 6 players to score a hat-trick against Wolves in the whole history of playing them. And it was at Stamford Bridge. 72,805 people got into a very wet day at Stamford Bridge. And the referee that day was Jay Davis from Rainhill. And the second time we played them in the Major Cup final, Now, I think you remember this, Philip. I think, Ellie, would you remember it?
I remember.
Yes, 1971.
72, we played
Seven-
them in 70. Yeah, it was 7. No, we won the League Cup in 71. 72, we won the UEFA Cup. And this was the team. I mean, do you want to talk us through the,
72,
do you want to
73.
talk us through the team, Philip and Ellie? I'll
Yeah,
start
go
with
on.
you, Philip, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. You
if I
start,
do the
Phil.
back, for the defence with Philip, and then you were the next lot, Ellie. So Philip, talk
Yes,
us
of
through this team
course.
here and the players
Okay,
that are playing here.
that's actually pretty much the same back five that played in the 1967 Cup final against Chelsea. In fact, it
Great
is exactly, I think.
defence.
I mean, Mike England's brilliant centre back. Pat Jennings, we all know, superb. Alan Mullery was a great servant to the club. Joe Kinnear went on to manage Newcastle and several other clubs. Cyril Knowles tragically died very young. Um, Terrible
Yeah.
loss. And that was a very, very good organised defensive unit.
Yeah.
And I always remember a comment. Again, I'll refer back to the book written by Hunter Davis around the time of this, called The Glory Game. He was actually allowed access to Spurs for the entire season that they won the UEFA Cup. And the biggest reaction was when Spurs beat, I think it was an AC or Inter Milan, they beat in the semi-final. And they found that Wolves had got through to the final. There was general dismay. For God's sake, they spent the whole year traipsing around Europe, and the final in bloody Wolverhampton. Just up the M6. So there was a lot of disappointment that it was Wolves that were getting in the final. The Wolves are a decent team at that stage. They had Derek Dugan, and
they did.
Yeah.
it's some good players, and they ran it very, very close in that final. Very, very close.
They did, and then Ellie. This is, I mean, it got Alan Gilsing, Perryman, Martin Shivers. Now, can I just say something about Ralph Coates? Right, I love this man. Right, he reminded me of I don't know if anybody remembers the Hamlet advert in the 80s.
Yeah.
That for years, I swore that was Ralph Coates because he was a spitting image. He just had that bit of hair covering the whole ball spot. I mean, I don't know why he just didn't cut it off. It's a bit like Bobby Charlton back in the day. He had that bit of hair going across as well.
Yeah.
Must have been the fashion then.
Is it Raspberry Nesbit? Is it Raspberry Nesbit?
Yeah.
And I mean, what a midfield and forward line there, Ellie.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Talk us through that forward line. Go on, talk us through that.
I mean, look, you've got Martin Chivers up front. You've got Martin Peters in midfield, who was majestic. Ralph Coates would run all day on the wing. Very tricky player, actually. Steve Perryman, he was more like a holding midfielder, but he was fantastic as well. Alan Gilsing, what a great striker. Brilliant with his head, brilliant with his feet. He had everything, that boy, right? And I wouldn't say he was underrated, but he didn't get the plaudits that he really, really, really deserved, Alan Gilsing, But Martin Chivers, he was the one that was playing for England, so his profile was high. But all of the team from 1 to 11 was fabulous. They all had their certain skill. The one player that I would mention in Phil's side was Cyril Knowles. I absolutely adored Cyril Knowles because he had a wicked left peg and he could bomb up the wing, and his passing was sublime. Yeah. I'm not sure very rarely did a bad pass. Very rare.
I'm not sure. Cyril Knowles had a brother called Peter Knowles who played for Wolves. And Peter Knowles disappeared. I think he went to one of these religious sects. Now, I'm not sure if he played in that final. I know they played against each other in league matches. I'm not sure if Peter Knowles was still around at that stage, but it was actually quite sad. I reckon Peter Knowles was a very gifted footballer, but he got some strange ideas.
Family.
And went off somewhere,
That's why we need Phil, because he does this fantastic research.
But do you know that game? The one thing that strikes me for that game, I watched it recently on YouTube, is the power and the venom in Martin Chivers' strike for that winning goal.
Oh, yes.
That's one of the hardest shots I've ever seen in football. I mean, that
the only one who can compete with him is Peter Lorimer. Lorimer's shot. Brilliant. Yeah. I know, Philip, he had a fantastic shot. I've got a funny story to tell you about Martin Chivers as well.
Right? Another one.
Yeah, I got a really good one, right? So me and my brother Boo, we were fighting relegation at the time. I can't remember whether it was Derby or Leeds. I'll have to look it up or ask my brother Boo. Right, anyway, it was dead quiet because we were like, oh, we needed a goal. I think it was 1-1 at the time, if I recall, because I was only 11 or 12, right? And my brother shouted, shoot, Shiv, shoot. And he shot it and it went right into the top corner. And he came over to my brother. He went, thank you, thank you.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
It was a really good one. I'll
Oh, yeah.
never forget that for the rest of my life, you
Yeah.
know?
You see the comment there about JC put up there. Wasn't Shivers the one Bill Nick said most frustrated him?
Yeah.
I think Bill Nick and
Yeah.
himself came to more blow, nearly came to blows several times. But what I thought was lovely was when Bill Nick was brought back to White Hart Lane for his testimonial and later games, it was always Martin Shivers that escorted him onto the pitch.
Yeah.
It was a lovely
Yeah.
touch. It really was.
Yes.
His old teammates bringing them out onto the pitch.
Yeah. Peter Knowles is a
Yeah, I
Jehovah's
love Martin
Witness.
That's it.
Shivers.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then big up Zoe. And then Tom Market said, it's Steve Perriman, Tottenham's longest serving player ever. Amazing. He played with Peters and Shivers. Yeah, he made his debut in if I'm right in this, Philip, 1968,
69 or 68.
69.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
It would have been around that time.
he played all the way up to 1986 when he was transferred to Oxford United, I think.
Yeah. I've got his name on my hat, people.
Oh.
Steve Perriman, come on, you Spurs.
Steve Perriman's a legend.
That's
Absolutely.
my special hat.
So the
I love
first
Steve
game,
Perriman.
the first game was at Worlds, which we won, 38,000, and we had a Soviet Union referee for that game, which
Wow.
belonged me.
I'll tell you who that referee was. And now I could be wrong on this. Now I heard this story out recently. I'm not sure if it's right or not. He was. Do you remember the linesman in 1966 FA Cup final that gave the goal that England scored that sent
Was he
across?
the referee?
Yeah, he was a linesman then. I think
All right.
referee and that. Now I'm open to correction on that, but I understand somebody said that he was the
Look
referee
that one up.
that refereed that final.
Good research again, Philip.
It
Totally wrong. It's a nice story anyway.
Yeah. Martin Shivers got 2 for Spurs that day, and then we got a 2-1 win on the away goal, and then on the return to White Hart Lane, we drew 1-1, and of course Alan Mullery. Who can forget Alan Mullery's header?
Nearly got his head kicked off.
Yeah, he did, and then Spurs had a good run to that seed. I couldn't get all the running for that final. But there was another time we played Wolves, was the 1981 FA Cup final run.
Yeah.
Now, not a lot of people realise this. Now, we had all the sad events of Hillsborough in 1989.
Yeah.
It nearly happened to us in 1981 in the same area of the ground. Now, I don't know if you remember this, guys. I was only 4 at the time, but I don't know if you...
I remember there was some altercations and that, but they dispelled the crowd and they sort of snuffed it out. So,
but
there was a lot of people screaming.
There was apparently they let too many fans into the left end then, and that was the warning for what happened 7 years later or 8 years later.
I know.
But anyway, we drew 2-2 at Hillsborough. Archibald and Hoddle scored for Spurs, and I think it was Hoddle that gave away
Terry
the penalty.
Hibbett.
Yeah, gave away the penalty in the 90th minute.
Yeah,
that must have done well.
Yeah, and then of course we beat them 3-0 in the at Highbury and the replay, and Villiers scored that amazing top corner shot. Crooks got 2, and all I remember was John Motson commentating, and he said, "Look at Crooks go! Look at him go!" And he was a quick player, Garth Crooks.
He was.
There was no stopping him.
Brilliant, lightning.
So you know that's we were doing this for every pre-match show. We will be going back in time, looking at famous matches against these teams, and we will be digging up the past. I mean, guys, we've played Wolves over the years. Is there any memories for you? I'll start with you, Philip, and then you, Ellie. Any memory games over the years that you remember that stick out in your mind?
I think the one I think it was the opening of the West Stand in 1982 or three, whenever that was,
Yeah.
when Ricky Villa scored the hat trick. Like that one that probably stands out for me. It was such a big occasion.
Yeah.
It was actually the stand that nearly put us into financial ruin a few years later. The opening of that. But that's one that I remember. And I also remember when I was a kid, we were living in Birmingham, and ever got to see I got to see Spurs when they played Aston Villa, Birmingham
Yeah.
City, West Brom, and Wolves. They were the four teams, maybe Coventry as well occasionally. So going to Molineux one time to see Wolves play. And at that stage, unfortunately, Spurs were pretty rubbish on the road. We were nearly unbeatable at White Hart Lane, but put us out of the ground and we were no good. We got beaten. And I remember it was a long drive home because I was with two or three Wolves fans in the car, and I was taken. And a more recent memory of that was, I keep referring back to this visit we made there in February, whenever it was,
Yeah.
when we saw them. I got onto the plane at Heathrow Airport coming back, and he spilled the shirt on me under the jacket, and as you look over, there's a bloody Wolves fan sitting next to me on the plane.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I managed to hide the badge about halfway through the flight till he copped
Yeah.
it, so I had to take it on the chin for the rest of the flight. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Ellie. I mean, come on. Any
Yeah.
memorable games for you over the years against Wolves? I mean, we've had some
Well,
pretty decent games. We've beaten them twice in cup
Yeah.
finals. We're actually unbeaten against them in neutral grounds, and actually in cup football, we're actually unbeaten
Yeah.
against Wolves. Any games for
Yeah.
you that spring to mind? I mean, for me, the
The
9-0.
one, yeah,
Beat them
no,
9-0.
the one that springs to mind is more
Mm.
a more recent one when we were absolutely mauled by them,
Yeah.
and Jan Vertonghen scored. It was pissing it down with rain,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
Jan Vertonghen
Yeah.
got our winner. It was such a battering they gave us,
Mm.
and we won 3-2. I just couldn't believe it. I think Traore played fantastic in that game as
Yeah.
well. He was terrorising us.
Yeah.
Right, and I just remember thinking, "Whoa, that was we got out of that one." But Jan Vertonghen, he celebrated with the old Superman thing,
Right,
Yeah.
which
that's
I
right.
Yeah.
absolutely loved, and it just sticks in my memory because we didn't play poorly. It's just that Wolves played so brilliant and they deserved all 3 points, but we got out of that one as well.
Was
So
that when
yeah, that one
Mourinho was
sticks
in
in my
charge?
memory.
Uh,
Yeah, I
I
think it
mm,
was.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it could have been AVB. I'm not sure. One of the
no,
two, but
it was Poch, I
it
think.
was.
Poch or
It
Mourinho.
might have been Poch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Poch actually. You're right. But anyway, it was a fantastic game, and I just remember Jan Vertonghen. His smile, he lit up the place. I love Jan
Um.
I
Vertonghen.
could just answer Ellie's question. I lived in
Yeah.
Erdington for 10 years. Do you know where that is if she's from Birmingham? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the first time we played Wolves was on the 1st of the 9th, 1908. We beat them 3-0 in Division 2 at White Hart
Good,
Lane.
good result. Keep it up.
20,000 was the attendance, which was good. And
Yeah.
only 6 players in our history have scored hat tricks against Wolves. And the first two were Bert Bliss and Dick Rowley from the 20s and 30s. Then from George Hunt to Don Moore between 32 and then the 50s. And then, of course, the great Cliff Jones, part of the double winning side in 68. The great Ricky Villa and 82.
Yeah.
Who can forget that?
That was a
Around, I
great
think,
match.
around the former FIFA president opened this stand,
Stanley
if I
Rose.
remember.
Yeah.
Whatever his name, forget his name now.
Stanley
And
Rose.
then the legend that is Robbie Keane, Ireland's leading ever goal scorer.
It's
Brilliant.
about time we had
to-
another one, isn't it? It's about
Yeah,
time we had another one.
There is. Guys, I mean, this is our last 10 games. I bring these up as well. One defeat in the last 10 games for us. I mean, if you look at the end of the season, we did go on some run. Do you know
Yeah.
we won? Do you know we did go on? I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, 2 draws in the last 7 games of that season.
Yeah.
And then of course, we won again. Then the loss was only against Roma in the pre-season. Start the season unbeaten, the win and the draw. And these are Wolves' last 10 games. I mean, they're in rotten form. They really are in rotten
Yeah,
form.
they
One
are.
win in the last 9. They've drawn 3 out the last 4. No, so drawn 3 out the last 5 and lost. They've lost 2 as well. I mean, I'll start with you, Philip. I mean, on them stats alone, Philip, we should be beating Wolves easy tomorrow. We should be sticking 3 or 4 past them.
Yeah, I mean, every game looks easy on paper, but they'll look back at the result they got last season. That'll give them great encouragement. Plus, they
Yeah.
beat us a couple of seasons ago before that. I remember when Matt Doherty scored for them. So,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
like there were no easy games in the Premiership, none whatsoever.
Right.
There's no game you can turn up and say, "Oh, we can relax a bit today, lads. It's only such and such."
Yeah.
That does not happen anymore. So we really want to be at our best game from minute 1 tomorrow and get at them, because I think we don't want to let a team settle into a game and get a pattern going of pressing us and not letting us get the advantage. And none of this 10 passes to get across the halfway line.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
absolute killer.
I
Start
know.
start fast, get an early goal. We get an early goal tomorrow, I have no worries.
Yeah.
But if we don't get an early goal and they start growing and getting more confident, then I don't know if you fellas playing tomorrow, this Nunes guy that they bought for 42 million, he's supposed to be a decent player. And you'd hate someone to come on their debut and score against us, and really make a name for themselves. So I think we go at
Yeah.
them, and I think we win. There'll certainly be no repeat of the last time, because
No.
that is just not acceptable.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Ellie, for you, I mean, if you look at our you look at our end of the season, I mean, 1 defeat in 9. That
Yeah.
defeat, of course, was Roma in the pre-season. The end of our season was we had an almighty run at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We had the Arsenal win. We won our last few games. Wolves, of course, had 1 win in 9. I mean, for
Yeah.
you, can you see it being a 2 or 3-0 win? And who do you think will get the goals tomorrow? And then I'll come to you, Philip, about your score prediction. And then there's a little bit of news to round up the show on, so we're finishing that. So, what's your score prediction for tomorrow, Ellie? And who do you think will score?
Right. I think it's going to be 3-1, because I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I think we'll get the first 2 goals and then they'll get 1 and then we'll score again. And
Yeah.
I'm really hoping to see Richarlison score, because I like the boy. I really do like him. First of all, he's very technical and he can give us a lot of shithousery up the front. And Wolves are this funny team, right? Because they've got very technical players.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very comfortable on the ball. That little Podence last season, he was like bombing up and down the wing. We've got to stop him as well. So that's on Emerson's side. So we've got to take care of business in terms of blocking their good men as well, because they've got Ruben Neves who can spray the ball right, left and centre. So we've got more than them, no doubt. We've got more up front, especially. We've got the goal power to get those 3 goals. So I'm going for a 3-1 victory, and I think we'll be not comfortable, but I think it'll be quite comfortable.
Yeah. And you, Philip, what's your
Well, Philip,
prediction tomorrow?
First of all, I'm hoping Hugo Lloris turns up tomorrow, because he didn't turn up the last time.
No,
I'm
playing
going to
hot
go 2-1.
pancakes with the football.
I'm going to go 2-1. And I think it's going to be tight enough. And I think Harry Kane is going to continue his streak. And again, I like Elliot. I would like Richarlison to come on and score. But it wouldn't surprise me if the goal came from a bit further back. And I wouldn't be surprised if Perisic puts in one of his bullets tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. What I'm looking forward to as well is Perisic's corners. I'm just hoping he starts and he set pieces, because the boy, he can put it on the money,
Both feet as well.
Love him.
But you know what I love about it? Apparently, Sessegnon said after the Southampton game that as Perisic advised him to go the way he did for that run for the goal. But as Perisic told him, bomb in there at the far post and the cross will come over. And look what happened. So not only is he a great player, he's got the skill and he's got the experience to pass on to the younger guys.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of breaking news. This is from Di Mazzio. So I think we'll take it how we want to take it. AC Milan have restarted talks with Tottenham to bring defender Tantanga to the club.
Yeah.
They've just reopened in the last few hours a news in that it regards it's and news in this regard is expected. So it looks like we could be having another outgoing
Yeah.
before probably
That
before,
reinforces my belief there's another centre half coming in, because we're
yeah,
not going to let Joe Roda
Yes.
and Tanganga go without somebody on the cards to come back in.
exactly.
Yeah.
I do know. Look, I, I'm sick to death of this same old argument year in year out. Yeah, last season I was shouting Levy out. I had my views on Levy. I decided this season to take a different tact, see what he does. Look, we brought players in, so he has back Conte. So I will give him credit for that. I won't forgive him for everything he hasn't done, but he started in the right direction.
Yeah.
And for me, we've bought well. We've bought. I mean, we're looking at that young lad from Blackburn as well. Now, if these are players that Paratici is laying the foundations for the future, our under-20, our youth system is not great. We haven't got great young players in in Tottenham. We've only got a few: Dane Scarlett, Troy Parrott, Alfie
Devine.
Devine.
Yeah.
Name three. I can't name any more. I mean, me and Dave watched the under-23s against Leicester a couple of Fridays ago, and we were
Yeah.
awful. We were absolutely awful. So
Yeah.
I can understand them bringing these young players in, and if you're good enough, you're old enough. That was always the old saying. I mean, we remember that. I
Yeah.
mean, from the back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, how many young players did Man United bring in through their system? To the 92 lads.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, you're old enough.
But
I, I think,
Oh,
do you know
yeah.
what's interesting too? Do you know what's another advantage for the young players this season? That's not often thought about. You know, when the draw is made for the Champions League,
yeah,
well, the younger versions of the team, the under 19s, whatever they call it, will play each other at mirror matches the day before or the day after
Yes.
the big match. So that'll give the young
That's
players great
good.
experience playing against the best young players on the continent, which is a big
Yeah.
advantage for a youth squad. You know.
and
Yeah.
I am very much on the believer that look, for me, it's been a good window. We've got players in. Yes, we need bits. We need players here, players for there, players for everywhere. But it isn't Championship Manager or FIFA. These things take time.
Yeah.
Deals take long to get over. And as you say, Philip, and even you said, Ellie,
Yeah.
Harry Ticci will get this done. He's proved he's a done. He's
Yeah.
proved. He's proved his. He's proved his. Can you imagine if we had Steve Hitchens still in charge?
Yeah.
Jeez.
True. And do you
Yeah.
know
I
what?
mean, look at
Coming
the
back
bail
to the
money. You look at the bail money we wasted. Can you
yeah.
name me any player out of that bail money that was any good?
No,
Only
but
one that lasts.
I just want to come back to the academy. Yeah, so
Mm.
we've made the right moves in getting Yaya Toure in
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Jermaine Defoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's two good steps in the right direction. So now we've got to make sure that these youngsters are well drilled, well looked after, both mentally
Mm-hmm.
and physically. We've got the best training ground for them.
Mm.
So the physicality side of it, you've got everything there to help them.
Mm.
The mentality will be sorted, but the technical side with Yaya Toure and Jermaine Defoe, I think we're going to see a marked improvement in that department.
Yeah, I
That's
think
why we brought in.
getting Jermaine Defoe in is a brilliant bit of business.
It
I mean,
is.
he loves the club.
He does.
Jermaine Defoe loves the club. I might want to say big up to United Spurs of America, Jacob. Big up, lads. Thank you for coming in. Look, we will get there. There's no doubt we are building a team. For me, we will win something this year. I'm really, really confident we will win something this season. I think, look, we need to take it one game at a time. There's 13 days left in the window. We will get a centre back in. Look, if we can beat Wolves tomorrow without Romero, then I think we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think we will. Wolves are a poor side. We should beat them easily. And if somebody said to me, would you take 7 points in the first 3 games? I think I would have ripped their hands off for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, myself.
Yeah.
And look, let's be confident. Let's be positive. Let's back the boys. Let's get there because we can win. We will win. And let's not turn on each other because I
Yeah.
think it's the worst
No.
thing we can do as a
Listen,
fan base.
we're all
True.
supporting the one club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all want Spurs to do well. We might come at it from slightly different angles, but the end result is the same. We want a successful Spurs team. We want trophies in the door, and we want to be proud of our club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And do you know what, Philip? I think that's a great way to end the show, what you just
Yeah.
said. So we'll end it there.
Brilliant.
The Godfather has
Yeah.
spoken. Me and Ellie are going to go quietly we're going to bow to the Godfather and just quietly go. Listen, thank you everyone for
Brilliant.
joining us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been lively. It's been
Yeah.
it's been nearly argumentative, but we're still friends at the
Yeah.
end of it.
That's right. That's
And
right. Football
everyone's
is a game of opinions, isn't
it's a
it?
game of opinions, Ellie, and I think
Yes.
on this channel we do respect everyone's opinion. It doesn't
Very
matter which
true.
side of the fence you come on, we do respect your opinion.
That's right.
But big up everyone for coming in. And you know what I mean? I can't thank everyone. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the comments. Please get your patrons memberships. Thank you to Ellie for doing all the work she does, and Philip as
Yeah.
well for everything he does. Thank you again for joining us. We're back tomorrow at 8:30, I think. 8 or 8:30 for the Gary Mabbott special. And then
Yeah.
Sunday we're back with the post-match show. Or we might be switching it. I don't know yet. So we may do the post-match show tomorrow and the Gary
We
Mabbott
might
show.
need to. Hopefully, we don't need to, but
Yeah.
if we well, it'd be nice to do it tomorrow evening.
And
Yeah.
please smash that like and subscribe button, everybody. If you haven't subscribed, just please subscribe.
We're
We
nearly at
appreciate all your
600.
support.
We're nearly at 600. Then we're only 400 away from 1,000, and we want to get there for the start
That's
of the
right.
Champions League. We will be doing a
Yes.
stream for the Champions League draw as well next week, so join us for that. But we're back
Fantastic.
tomorrow at 8:30. I think with the post-match show or Gary Mabbott. I'm not sure which one we're doing it round. But please, everyone, take care. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and you never know,
Brilliant.
Spurs
Nice.
will win.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. And
Come on.
In Conte we
In
trust.
Conte we trust. Good night.